Good morning, boys and girls. It's Sunday again, and I'm excited to be sharing today's lesson. So, last week you did the 10 plagues with Annika, and this week we're going to see how God helps deliver the people of Israel as they've left Egypt and now they're going into the promised land. Let's see what happens. We're going to start with a song to remind us of what happened last week, and then we're going to see what happens after they left Egypt. So, enjoy today's lesson. Bye for now.
Water turned to blood and they could not take a drink. Frogs hopped everywhere and they really made a stink. Followed by the lice, then the flies, then the cattle died. But Pharaoh just said no, he would not let them go. Boils upon their skin and on everybody's kin. Hail upon the ground so that food could not be found. Locusts swallowed up, Egypt said, hey, we've had enough. But Pharaoh just said no, he would not let them go. 3 dark days of woe and they could not see their toes. Firstborns all died and then all the people cried. They now knew that God was the Lord and the only God. Now they know who to fear. So go get out of here.
Okay, go.
God sent plague after plague after plague, till finally Pharaoh let the Israelites go. God's people, the Israelites, marched out of Egypt, every man, woman and child, all following Moses. It was God who had saved the Israelites, and it was God who led them out of Egypt. A cloud by day and a pillar of fire by night. God led them out of Egypt till they came to a sea. Meanwhile, back in Egypt, Pharaoh changed his mind. He cried out, "What have I done? We have lost all our slaves." So Pharaoh prepared his chariot, and Pharaoh prepared his army. Then Pharaoh charged off after the Israelites. He found them camped before the Red Sea. The Israelites looked up. There was Pharaoh with his army charging down on them. And the Israelites cried out, "Why have you brought us out here to the desert to die? It would have been better to stay in Egypt." But God said, "Do not be afraid." And that night God separated the Egyptians and the Israelites. He placed his cloud between them. And God told Moses to stretch out his staff over the sea. So Moses stretched out his staff over the sea. All night long, God sent a wind from the east to push the sea in half. All night long, God's wind blew and blew and blew till it dried up the seabed. And when the ground was dry, the Israelites marched through the sea, a wall of water on one side of them, and a wall of water on the other side. The Israelites walked safely through the sea. The Egyptians saw the Israelites march into the sea, and so they chased them. But God confused the Egyptian army. He made the wheels fall off their chariots, and it was hard for them to drive. God told Moses to stretch out his staff again, and as soon as Moses stretched out his staff, the sea flowed back. The sea swallowed up Pharaoh, and the sea swallowed up the Egyptian army. Not one Egyptian survived. God had saved the Israelites, and when the Israelites saw God's power, they both feared him and trusted him, and together they sang a song praising God for his amazing power that had saved them. The Israelites were trapped. The Egyptian army was behind them, and the Red Sea was in front of them. There was no way out. But children, God is never trapped. Not by an army and not by a sea. Nothing and no one can stand in the way of God's rescue plan.
That was an incredible story of how God delivered the Israelites from the Egyptians and how he parted the sea for the Israelites, but he closed the sea over the Egyptians. God had a plan for the Israelites, as he has a plan for you and a plan for me. So as we look at St. Francis Bay Sea and the lighthouse behind us, let us remember that Jesus is our light, that he has a plan for us. He is the light and the foghorn that sounds in the darkness when we don't know where we're going or we don't know what's happening in our lives. He is the light and he is the way. He is the truth and the light, and he will deliver us as he delivered the Israelites from the Egyptians. God bless you. Bye-bye.